the number one reason why we cannot regulate our emotions as mothers and as women in the present day is because in our childhood we learned how to self-soothe and self-regulate with food. So I'm going to tell you a story, and a day in the life of me is very much me opening up the fridge, looking around for a miracle cure to be jumping out at me to fix how I'm feeling. And if I don't find it in the fridge, I'll then move on to the pantry and do the exact same behavior in there. Looking for something to fill the void, looking for a way to not feel, not be with my body, abandon myself, because I have been taught that food makes me feel better. So the story I want to share with you is my nonna. I'm Italian. My nonna, every time that I felt unhappy, or God forbid I shared a tear through my emotional expression, because I was a very emotionally expressed child, or I was told I was a silk crybaby. Let's not even go there with that trauma. But this is part of the story, right? She would then come with me, Leanna, here's a piece of cake. Leanna, here's some ice cream. Leanna, here's a frozen Freddo frog out of the freezer, which to the day she died, that was her thing. And she did it with my kids too, right? Now, this is problematic. As a woman who's grown up as an Italian in her culture, food is our love language, right? We show our love and affection with food. However, it is problematic when you start to create a behavior for a child to eat instead of a child to feel what they are feeling. And so from as young as I can remember, this has been what I have seen. This has been all I have known. So every time I felt upset, sad, emotionally charged over something or other, I would eat away my feelings. I also then learned to eat to make myself bigger, to be seen. That's a whole nother level. There are so many levels and layers deep for me in my healing work around my relationship with food and my relationship with my emotional body and my pain body. Like, it's too much to unpack on one podcast today, but we'll get there over time. But for now, I want to talk about this food situation, because so many women will DM me, and literally just today I've uploaded a reel on my Instagram stories. I'm going to invite you to go over and check that out at @LeannaBishop_breathwork and have a look at that, because that is a day in the life of me. Go to the fridge, open it up, look around, because I'm feeling something. Now, I have been in a bit of a vortex the last few weeks of not feeling good and not really knowing why I'm not feeling good, until I had an epiphany 2 nights ago that I'm back in my default position of numbing out my feelings, numbing out in a way in order to make me feel safer than what I currently was, because I felt safe. I feel safe when I eat food. Like, it's a safety mechanism, a coping mechanism for me. And I was like, oh my God, Leanna, we're right here again. We're right here dealing. What is at the core of this behavior? What is coming up for me right now for me to reset myself in such a big way? It's been in a big way. And I'm not reaching for crappy processed food, but I'm still reaching for food that I shouldn't be eating because I'm not hungry. There is no reason for me to be eating. It's just an automatic response to me feeling things and me not wanting to feel things. More to the point, because I have abandoned myself for 43 years. It's only been recently that I've really started to come home to myself and allow myself to feel, because I feel safe enough now to do so. But that's been a process, y'all. Like, it's been a process, and I wanted to have this conversation and share it more. I did share on my Instagram. You can go over there and see it all, but this is a place for me to deepen that and have a deeper conversation with you, because there's a lot here that I can't share in a minute and 30 seconds. So that relationship with food, I have had to become consciously aware that this is what I was doing. Become consciously aware of the behavior and the triggers behind the behavior. The only way I've been able to do that is by doing, a lot of self-awareness work and a lot of time sitting with me, and in the very beginning journaling on a lot of stuff, and now doing breath work to get into the core of my inner child and what she's saying to me. Because I can guarantee you from my own personal experience, every time I go to the fridge or go to the pantry, I am literally in my inner child body, and she is present and she is calling the shots in my present day-to-day life. And this is where I am massively passionate about talking about this, about allowing you to give yourself permission to feel through your inner child wounding, to know what that even is for you. It's why I have developed this breath work with the inner child clearing, so we can get women and get you and get mothers to start understanding those pieces of themselves, so that we have an opportunity to mother ourselves in a way that we were not mothered. I love my mother dearly. I also loved my grandmother dearly. But they were not emotionally available for me because they didn't know how to be. They hadn't been role modeled that from their own mothers in their childhood. And so the generational programming and condition and behavior has just been passed down to me. And I now get to be the one that breaks the chain, that gets to see it differently, that gets to emotionally hold myself now. And in doing so, that allows me to emotionally hold my nonna, my mum, and now my daughter and my son. Mothers come to me all the time, women come to me all the time, and they say, I just feel so selfish and so guilty for spending all this money on me, for doing the breathwork sessions, for getting coaching or mentoring, for doing anything that resembles putting themselves first. And honey, let me tell you, if you are not putting the oxygen mask on yourself first, your kids and your family are going to come last. Because your pain body is going to be so enormously charged, so electrically charged, that you are going to continue to operate from that place. This whole period I'm in right now is so much of me holding myself, holding space for myself to be seen, to be held, to be witnessed, to be nourished, to be loved by me, for me, as a way to create safety and trust within me, so that I don't have to live my life in my head telling myself that I'm a shit human or a bad mother or a horrible friend or a shitty wife. I don't want to live my life with all of that harshness and that self-criticism day in, day out, because when I live from that place, I am displaying and offering up that same disconnection and that same criticalness to my kids, to my partner, to my friends, to everyone else around me. And that is why doing this work and learning to love on yourself and mother yourself before you go out into the world and mother other people is so important. But I see you, because we haven't been taught how to do this. We don't know how to do this. It's not a natural thing for us to do. And in fact, it can feel quite weird. It can feel really weird, and you'll want to push it away. You'll want to repel it. You'll want to be repulsed by it. It may feel gross, all of that stuff. And I want to say, I see you. I understand you. And I'm sending you so much love for anyone who's on this journey or wants to go on this journey, because this is the journey. This is the process. We can't expect everything to feel good at the start. It doesn't. Like, nothing I've ever done to heal myself and continue to heal myself has felt good. It hasn't. It's felt terrifyingly uncomfortable. Especially the first time I tried breathwork, especially the first time I tried any somatic activation, especially the first time that I shared openly and vulnerably and actually used my voice to share how I was feeling with another human being. Wow. And that little girl in me was terrified, and she's the one in there trapped with all the emotions. In every single part of our DNA, we have stored emotions. And it's causing our pain body, and it's causing the disease, and it's causing all of these symptoms that we're having, that we're looking for answers elsewhere, externally of us, but yet we've got all the answers ourselves. And it takes a while for you to get there, and I know, but as long as this is a conversation that just activates that curiosity within you, then I've done my job here today. I've really done my job here today, because as a mother who still regularly allows herself to sit with that criticism and that judgment as a way of recognizing it, as a way of bringing it into the light, because I know that the shame I have around all of that only breeds when it's kept in the dark. When I bring it to light, when I get to share it on Instagram for you guys to see, when I get to talk about it here openly, publicly on this podcast on YouTube, I get to shine a light on that, which then releases me from its clutches. I get to then feel it all, which is a somatic way of releasing me from its clutches. I don't want to continue on the same path as I've always been. I want to celebrate and champion all the beautiful things I love from my childhood, and I then want to nurture and honor those things that weren't so good, so that I can do the same for my kids. I want my daughter, especially, who may go on to be a mother one day, but also my son, who's going to be a father one day and a partner one day, to be able to hold themselves and regulate their emotions without the need to project it onto somebody else and cause themselves turmoil and cause themselves more pain, and have a way of healthily regulating it without the need for booze and food and Christ knows what else could come their way. Right? I really invite you today to deeply listen to this, take what you need from it, and leave the rest. I'm not here to preach my way is the only way on you. I'm here to just share my story openly for you to gain what it is that you need, for you to get curious about the things that could support you, get curious about what it might feel like to have another human hold you, support you, see you, and hear you, because that is what is going to create your courage and confidence to go further in life. I want to invite you to head over and have a look at my website, because every week on a Monday and a Wednesday alternatively, I hold free 1-hour breathwork sessions with me. These are a way for you to come and feel the power of what you have inside of you for free. For free in the fact that you can tap into this modality at any time you like, but also for free in the fact that I'm just gifting you this because I want you to have a way to release your emotions healthily, to release your emotions, to be able to create space for a new way of being and a new way of feeling that doesn't rely on behaviors and patterns that are toxic to you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate every single one of you who views this, who listens to this. Please share it with anybody else that you think might benefit from this conversation today. Drop into my DMs on Instagram at @LeannaBishop_breathwork. I'm always over there, or alternatively, pop your comments below.